thousands of articles published every year only in tourism and hospitality. And there is also very high level of pressure on more means more articles, more administrative work, more teaching loads. But the time is limited, sources are limited. The journals that we can publish are also limited. Well, this is the the academic model. So sources are limited, but needs are unlimited. So many people, or all the academia would like to publish their papers or their books, but this is not possible. The outputs of scientific publications have lost their value and become more mechanic. Well, this has been the main issue, I think, that we have been discussing, or having a debate in different platforms and with different people, either on social media, digital platforms, or in the real, the platforms in different venues. So I don't know what will happen in the future, in the near future, but I think the academia should take some measures, at least to control the system, to regain the value of the academic or scientific publications outputs. As you know, there are also some incentive systems introduced in different countries. But these countries mainly, the bigger countries, and also stronger countries in the academia, like United States, China, they offer different incentive systems to push their academics, their scholars, or their academic communities to publish more outputs, more research outputs, and in the end of the day, I think there are also different critics about this issue. Some people take the issue from the competitive side. Some people say this is a kind of in unfair competition because of different sources in terms of availability or unavailability. Like there are developed countries, and non-developed countries. So the sources are very limited. So okay, developed countries publish perhaps more in very good journals, but people in undeveloped countries or non-developed countries are not able to have such opportunities or advantages in making a similar progress in publishing in this, strong or good journals. Well, just talking about in the context of tourism research. Perhaps you remember, I think it was last year or the year before, our Minister of Education just emphasized when he was making a presentation about the problem of national education system in Turkey. He said there is this, he emphasized about the problem of, or the negative consequence of this shiny object syndrome. What is shiny object syndrome? It means if something is more popular or trendy, everyone, the rest of other people also follow this trend, this popularity. So this is called shiny object syndrome. I call this follow the craft in another meaning. So when we look at the content of books or papers, we can see always similar subjects or topics are studied with the same methods, almost with the same conclusions and so on. They use similar methods, yes, similar results, but in the end of the day, their contribution is very, very limited, and we just judge if there might have been any reason to to repeat the same studies, for many times. So again and again, we don't have to repeat the same study in the same context and so on. So what happens in the end is we are not able to be successful in completing the whole picture. So we have some missing parts in the whole picture. So that's why I have decided to talk about the value of interdisciplinary research in this presentation. Yeah, this is another problem in terms of our journals. They also on the demand, on the supply side. They also only publish articles, but pay less attention or give less value on additional parts. We call this publish or perish syndrome. So because there is very high level of demand. So demand means the high number of people, scholars who want to publish their papers. Depending on this high level of demand, journals also push, or publishers also push themselves, to publish more articles other than different additional parts like book reviews or research notes and so on. And the system is not complete because we have more papers but less reviewers, and this is the main problem now in the international academia. Because think about this. It's a kind of pool, okay, pool of authors and pool. Many people, all the people who have published their papers in international journals, they bring, they are put into a pool. So this pool means they are the people who make contribution to the, let's say, tourism knowledge in the international context. But when we look for reviewers, the people in this pool do not help us to fill in the gap for looking for potential reviewers. So this system should work like if there are, a certain number of authors existing in the pool, in the same pool, they should also voluntarily serve as a reviewer to check the papers submitted or written by other people, to invite them into the same pool. It's a kind of sharing experience, okay? But the system doesn't work in that direction. Okay, people publish their papers, but then they stop making their further contributions as a reviewer. This is very opportunistic, I think, approach. So we should, as long as if we want to publish, papers, either in the domestic or in the international context, we should continue our service by helping other people to to have the same, let's say, excitement to have the papers published. So this is how the system can continue, okay, in the future. So this is also a kind of sustainability. Many people, either in tourism or in different fields, they always talk about sustainability is important. Sustainable tourism is very important, but not many of these people help the system to be sustainable. Okay, so if we are talking about something in papers, we should also, benefit from all our arguments in our real life. So citations, yes, but this is, I think, the thing that we can be proud of ourselves as a tourism community. I check, sometimes occasionally I check the proportion of citations in tourism journals. Now, until 2020, the beginning of this century, I think the proportion of papers that we export from other fields into tourism was very high, but after 20 or 30 years, we can be proud of ourselves because tourism studies or tourism knowledge is now exported to other fields, so which is non-tourism fields. That means tourism. Think about a baby. Okay, so tourism was born, let's say, in 60s or in 70s as an academic discipline or field in the world, in Europe and then in US first, and then it has grown up so far. So it is almost, let's say, a kind of, it's not a teenager, it is a kind of, a mature, not a very mature, but let's say a middle-aged person, okay, but it's still growing up. So it has started helping other fields, which is good, and which is also an advantage for its on the tourism side. So this is the figure, 46% from Anatolia, I think, in 2020 last year. That means 46% of papers published in Anatolia was cited by non-tourism journals only in 2020. So which is very good. It's almost 50%, half of papers. So half of the citations that Anatolia received in last year belong to non-tourism journals. So we started making export. We started, yes, doing export to other fields as well. So impact factor is not only single criterion, and people still are still debating about this issue. There are different views about this. Some people are happy, comfortable with what still exists now, and some people, other people, are against the criteria that we use today. But to me, impact factor is not a single criteria to judge the quality of a paper or the quality of a journal either. So we should think about different criteria or different metrics in the future to better evaluate the quality of research outputs. Yeah, so this is, yes, in general, in the last almost 20 years, these are the figures from Anatolia. I just copied it from Web of Science this morning. You see 61% of citations in Anatolia belong to tourism and hospitality journals. So 39 citations belong to non-tourism journals. So this is much more, I think, optimistic. Only for the last year, 2020, you see this number increased on the side of non-tourism journals. So it is 46%, as just mentioned. So the contribution of, let's say, papers, citations by other fields for Anatolia, for the papers in Anatolia, has been increased, which is, I think, a good progress for tourism and hospitality journals. And these are the, the distribution of fields that the citation, well, that the profile of, papers that cite the papers in Anatolia. You see the first one is environmental sciences, second is green sustainability and technology, management, environmental studies, There are sociology papers and sociology journals. There's economics here, there's geography here, and these are some other very disciplines which are very minor, like technology, archaeology, and so on. And yes, so this is also another paper that we published with Mehmet last year, making critiques about the Web of Science journals in tourism that do not intend to publish additional sections in the journals. So, as I mentioned in the previous few slides, there is a kind of pressure to publish more papers other than specific sections. But now I think beginning from this last year, I think because of this COVID-19, some journals have started welcoming more research notes and so on, because they also want to offer a kind of opportunity for the authors, at least to help them share their research outputs with the academic community, and to check the quality of the research outputs with the community. And if you would like to do more interdisciplinary study, research or studies, I think the first thing that we should do is, I think, to invite different people from different disciplines and come together and collaborate with each other. That means, in the end, the number of authors or co-authors will be much more than what exists, in a kind of research which is authored only by a single author in a specific field. So it means the more, we can just summarize this, I think, like the more interdisciplinary research, the more co-authors. We can just summarize it like this. And if you look at this, this table on the left side, this is also the output of our research with Antonia that we just published in Current Issues in Tourism. So this is the beginning from the, the data comes from 1940s. So it is almost the last 75 years data. So you see these are the average number of authors per article. In 70s, 1.10, it is increasing, and you see from this century, it is about 2. Then it's still increasing now, it's about 3. But I'm sure in the next 10 years, by 2030, we will see the average number here will be, I think, not less than 5. Believe me, okay, I promise you. And if somebody, do a similar calculation in 2030, we will see how the co-authorship process has progressed in the next 10 years. And these are the list of some papers with the number of co-authors you see. Only in tourism, this paper by Mike Hall, I think it was just published 5-6 years ago in tourism management. It has 52 authors. So this is now the number one paper study in terms of highest number of authors, co-authors. And this is, I think, second one with 12 authors, which was published in the same year, and also in Tourism Journal. So you see, like in sciences, pure sciences, or in medical sciences, we can see the number of co-authors in social sciences in general, and also in tourism in specific is increasing. Distribution of studies by major countries. So this is also the output of our research about these papers published in the last 70-75 years from the beginning. You see there are two dominant countries. One is United Kingdom and the other one is United States. These two countries, I think, heavily, focusing on specific subjects like environment, like destinations, geography, research methods. And this is, for example, for United States, it's almost same environment, destinations, and so on. When we look at other countries, yes, they are very diverse. The subjects they, each of these countries studies is also diverse, not very homogeneous. So, but these are the list of subjects now most frequently studied subjects by these 10 countries, and these are the countries who are now dominating the international tourism research community. There's also, you see, so we are lucky that Turkey is here in this list, and these are, you see, these are our competing countries. Here, Hong Kong is, well, it is outside of this group. I don't know why, but I think it's not weak, but I don't know, it is separate from this group. There could be a different reason for it. Yes, so what, and this is also again, well, these are the, the distribution of, specific fields that the tourism scholars have paid more attention to investigate, to study until now. So we, as the tourism community, we have mostly focused on this business management, geography planning, leisure hospitality tourism, nature, environmental sciences, economics, education, sociology, ecology, and policy, development, transportation, using marketing. So these are, this is the boundary of the pool of subjects that we have mostly studied in the last 75 years. So this table can also be, I think, a good evidence to, emphasize why interdisciplinary research is important or valuable in, making better contribution to the field, to the academic field or academic studies. And the figure on this is the information about the type of methods that we use in tourism journals, tourism papers so far. You see mostly questionnaires and surveys. The second one, network analysis. Well, network analysis, I think, has become very popular in the last 10 years. And in many countries, people do network analysis. And recreation, I think it is not very common, but it was very popular in 90s and later on. And there are some other different methods here. And even, big data, you see. I say we should emphasize more, pay more emphasis on this, using more big data, but I think this is more than 200 studies have already applied big data or used big data in their research, so which is also very good progress in terms of tourism and the quality of tourism studies. And well, this is some other, more evidence about the importance of the interdisciplinary research or collaboration from the generic side. Yes, so this Akçiğit and Özcan Toko, they also on TV, they were also on TV, I think, program last year, giving more details about their research outputs, and their outputs also published in a book by TÜBA, Türkiye Bilimler Akademisi. So this is what I copied from their book. So this is in Turkish, but it means, you see, this is the life cycle of researchers, okay, in general, in Turkey. They publish more papers until so there are some, well, I can't. Yes. Yeah, as long as they get the professorship degree, the number of papers or outputs, research outputs, books, or I think these are only, yes, the articles, I think. So the number of articles is, you see, getting decreased substantially, and then by some. So it means this is the the first year of this researcher, and this is the 30th year. Like myself, I've just finished my 29 years in the academia. So you see, it is less than 0.5. That means when they stop, I think publishing or producing research, so which is, well, not good for the academic progress of Turkey. In different countries, this is, well, there are some, if you look at this, is available on the internet, so you can check it on the web page, and this is not exactly similar in different countries. I think there should be the one in Norway could be, I think, in Norway or in Sweden, it is more optimistic. I think the same figures in these countries, still are increasing, going up. As long as even they got the professorship degrees and so on, so they don't stop until they are retired. Yeah. So these are the proportion of the co-authored studies. You see, this is the number of co-authored studies, articles, and these are the number of co-authored studies with the people, with the scholars in other countries. So that means the people in Turkey usually collaborate with other Turkish scholars more than how they collaborate with the international scholars. So that means if you want to make the field, or our field, stronger, we should collaborate more with international, with the international community. And yes, these are the proportion of co-authored studies again. You see the collaboration with the international community, research community, is getting down, and it's not very stable. It's fluctuating, not stable, but beginning from this, I think 2008 or 9, it has started going up, which is good for the country. Again, well, this is, I think, yes, this is the comparison between Turkey and other countries. You see the proportion of co-authored papers. No, this is the proportion of interdisciplinary studies in Turkey. You see, it is much lower than the progress of other countries. So it is önce countries, which is the pioneer countries in research in the world. So they have more collaboration in terms of interdisciplinary research conducting the interdisciplinary research by Turkey, the people, the scholars in Turkey are not as much enthusiastic as the international academic community. Yes, these are by countries. You see this Turkey. You see the proportion of interdisciplinary studies in Turkey is the lowest one compared to other countries. Number one is Australia, Netherlands, Canada, Switzerland, Spain, and so on. You see, so it is almost not half, but I think it is less than 0.5% lower than other pioneering countries. That means, conducting interdisciplinary study is important. So, as a country, we should also, do something or pay more attention and spend more energy to catch these countries. And these are, again, the distribution of interdisciplinary studies by different disciplines. This is medical health sciences. This is by, woman and nature. This is engineering and temel bilimler. This pure sciences. And this is social sciences. You see in all fields, the proportion of the interdisciplinary studies is the lowest in Turkey compared to other countries. So these are the list of other countries. Same with this one and so on. In social sciences, the number, I think Netherlands is the number one, Canada is the number two, and so on. So compared to different other fields, I think the position of social sciences in Turkey is not bad. It is almost at the same level, at least, yes, it is not as much easy as other fields, other disciplines to conduct, interdisciplinary studies, but even there's some, opportunities specifically for social sciences, to produce more interdisciplinary research outputs. These are the number of again the research outputs articles by disciplines, and the social sciences you see here is the last one. So it means social sciences, well, the field of social sciences is not as productive as other disciplines. So there could be different reasons for this. So this is not our, topic today to discuss, but it might be more difficult to design the research, to collaborate with other people, to write and so on. So there are some specific reasons for us not to be as productive as other fields. Yes, so suggestions for the future. So you see this human being, and we said, okay, people look at the same issue from different perspectives, and some disciplines just look at this side and some others from this side and so on. But in the end of the day, this is the human being, so he or she wants to be happy in their life. So this is the conclusion, okay? This is the main result that we will reach in the end of our research. So that's why we do research, to make, to make the community, to be happy in their life, to increase their quality of life, to increase their well-being, their comfort in this society, in their life, and so on. So we should think about how we can join the forces from different disciplines to reach such, conclusions to increase the quality of life of, communities or citizens in particular, communities or countries. So, well, this is the, the mission of social sciences, to explore the reality or nationality of human behavior. So we should collaborate, with different disciplines with the same mission to contribute to the, to the welfare of this human body. And we should also find more logical, more reasonable solutions to better understand the human behavior in their nature settings. And I think the last one is more important. We should explore how to be understood, okay, which is more important than what to be found. So in our research, we always focus on what we have found, but how we found this, how we have reached these results is much more important than what is the output. Yes, so suggestions for the future. So we can do more interdisciplinary studies in tourism as well, more collaborative studies, either within our country or between different countries. And we can use multiple scenarios like the papers published in different journals, this kind of marketing journals. We can focus on longitudinal studies, methods to reach more, or stronger outputs or solutions for the research problem. We can also use mixed methods and triangulation, ethnography, autoethnography. These are very new emerging subjects or methods in tourism research. And our journals, tourism journals, are not very happy to welcome this kind of paper submissions. But like in other fields, I think we should also focus and we should push the journals and editors, to publish this kind of papers in their journals. This is, I think, to me, much more valuable than using more quantitative methods. And yes, absolutely, yes, naturally, big data, I think we should use, we will use perhaps, or we will have to use more big data as a method, as a new method in the future, because of the use of technology and the transformation of all this, information, personal information, onto the digital platforms on computers. So any kind of personal information, personal data is and also will be available online in the future. So we can perhaps use this data to make better judgments or critiques about any particular kind of research problems. Well, I don't know how much time we have. It's almost 1 hour. Yes, I think it's better to stop here. And if you may have any questions, I am very happy to help you. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you very much, Professor Kozak, for your valuable and insightful speech. If there are any questions, please do not hesitate to ask.
Can we ask?
Yes, please.
Okay, I thought we should write the questions. All right. Metin Hocam, I would like to ask if you can make a study with 52 authors. I just really wonder if 52 authors can work properly together and what kind of results they can obtain. It's interesting to me. I don't know. I couldn't work more than 4 authors one time. That's why I just ask if you can do, or do you agree?
I think, yeah, thank you, Ferika. I think you are just mentioning about this paper. Well, I just found this article, because it seems to me interesting, with the number of authors. But I haven't checked the content. I didn't read this paper. By looking at the title, I think it's a kind of, combination between social sciences and sciences, pure sciences like climate change. So that's why I think the number of co-authors is much more the highest in our field in tourism. I'm not sure about the order of their authors or about the loads of each author. I was also wondering about how they measure the contribution of each author in this kind of studies. And I asked somebody in physics. They told me that because they do some laboratory experimental laboratory studies, and they have groups, research groups, and each group has a kind of an order, okay, in the list of authors. It's a kind of block, So depending on the contribution of each group, they start the order from the beginning to the end. So this is it's not the typical order of authors. So this is more the order of research groups, okay? And each research group as a unit, as a specific unit, they also make their own order in themselves, in their group. Like, for example, we are at Yaşar University, we are 10 people who are contributing to the same study, and we have also some 5 other universities, institutions, or departments in different countries. And we are the second group, for example, in this paper. So you are the first author of our group. I am the second, and so on. Okay, so you will be the 11th author in this paper. This is how the system works. Well, it is, I don't know, ethical or logical. So I don't know, but this is the system. Otherwise, there should be no, I don't know, no solution for the problem. That this can be another problem,
Yes, exactly. I understand what you mean. Like a project, they work together, as I understand.
Yes.
But contribution of every single author in the studies, a question mark still in my mind. But thank you very much for your answer. Thank you.
Well, yes. But this is, I think, at least more, logical way of, solving the problem. Well, this is my motto. This is my argument. The academia always, are forced to find a solution for the society, to help them to live in a better environment. But sometimes, or many times, the academia creates their own problems for the society. So, the academia is more jealousy. So I think this is how they can handle with this problem. Well,
thank you. Exactly. Thank you.
I talk about mostly from the positive side, from the more, let's say, optimistic side. But I agree with you that, conducting interdisciplinary or, let's say, multiple authored papers or studies is not easy, just because of this reason, the order of authors. So I think we should be more optimistic, not very opportunistic or selfish. And if we are open-minded, if we are very collaborative, and then we can I think do better collaborative work with other people. Otherwise, no, it is not a very good idea to collaborate if you are not open to collaboration.
Any more questions? Okay, then I would like to thank you, Professor Kozak, for your valuable speech. It was really fruitful and insightful. And I would like to thank the participants for being here with us during the webinar. Then we're finalizing the seminar. Take care of you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Gökçe, for your concluding remarks. Hope to see you again, well, in person in the future.
Thank you very much.
Near future, not in the longer future. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.